Designing ICT content with online creation tools. Objective: independently apply the principle and techniques of designs using online creation tools, platforms, and application. Create original or derivative ICT content for use in specific professional tracks. This content may include survey instruments using Google Forms or business or academics, athletic matchup and league standings using MindMasters and sports, catalogs, swatches, options for products and service using Prezi or TechVogue, online photo albums or of artistic works or photographs using Picasa or Arts, and online music production using Sibelius or Music. Good day everyone, my name is Marifaisen M. Hermata, and today we're going to discuss about the designing ICT content with online creation tools. So first we have here an online platforms as tools for ICT content development. So definition and purpose of online platforms and application. Um, Online platforms are digital environments that facilitate various forms of communication, collaboration, and content creation. Online platforms enhance accessibility, provide collaborative features, and support a wide range of content formats. The examples of online platforms and applications are Facebook, Google Drive, Marketplace, Instagram, YouTube, and many more. Online platforms and applications are the most important thing because we rely on them to buy and sell goods and services and to find information online and to keep in touch with each other. We use them for entertainment, news, transportation, accommodation, finding jobs and employees, finding apps, and for many other purposes. Basic web design principles and elements. Web design principles refers to the guidelines that ensure web content is both visually appealing and functional. Fundamental elements of web design include layout, color scheme, typography, imagery, and navigation. So, these elements will be tackled in later. Web page design using templates and online WYSIWYG platforms. So, WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get platforms, are online tools that allow users to design web pages visually without needing to write code. Templates are pre-designed layout that users can customize to fit their needs. Second is online platforms for specific users. First is presentation or visualizations. So here is we have Prezi and MindMister. So Prezi is a tool for creating dynamic and interactive presentations. It allows users to zoom in and out of a canvas to present ideas in a non-linear fashion. MindMister is a mind mapping tool that helps organize and visualize information and ideas, ideal for planning and brainstorming. Second is a cloud computing. So here we had a Google Drive, Evernote, and Dropbox. So Google Drive is a cloud storage service that allows users to store, share, and collaborate on documents and files online. Um, Evernote is an application for note-taking, organizing, and archiving information across devices. And the Dropbox is a cloud storage platform for file sharing and collaboration.
So, next is social media, a collection of online platforms where people can connect, communicate, and share content. So, ang first is Twitter, a social media platform short message, updates, and engaging with community. Twitter, ang microblogging platform na kaila sa mga short message nga gitawag og tweets. Usa ni ka powerful tool para sa pag-engage sa community, sharing updates o pag-participate sa real-time conversation. Ang Twitter is perfect para sa pag-share og opinions o pag-promote sa mga events. Then, next is Facebook, a platform for social networking and sharing updates and creating groups of collaboration. A social networking platform that allows users to connect sa atong family ug friends ug sa pag-share sa mga updates o pag-join sa mga groups. Ang Facebook is gihimo nga importante na tool para sa pagtinabangay o pagbuo sa komunidad. Next is Tumblr, a microblogging platform that supports various contents formats including text, photos, and multimedia. So, Tumblr is a microblogging platform nga nag-support sa mga lain-lain nga formats, including text, images, and multimedia. Ug focus sad ni siya sa creativity or creative expression. Tumblr's flexibility makes it perfect sa pag-share sa personal thoughts, showcasing creative work, and connecting sa mga tao nga naay pareho og paranaw or minded people.
So next is web page creation. So web page creation is nasa duha ka part, which is ang WIX and ang Weebly. So ang WIX is an online webster builder that offers drag and drop functionality and customizable templates for creating professional websites. Then the Weebly is a user-friendly websites builder with a focus on ease of use and a variety of design templates. Next is file management. So first is Samzar. Samzar is an online conversion tool that supports converting files between different formats. Then Word to PDF is a tool for converting Microsoft Word document to PDF format.
So next is mapping. Mapping is the process of creating a visual representation of a geographical area, showing its features and locations. So ang una is Google Maps, an online mapping service that provides directions, location, information, and street view. So Google Maps is a widely used online. Kani siya is naghatag niya og direction, information o location o street view. Og importante sa siya kay mao ni ang mag-guide nato og asa ta padung para di ta masaag. So next is Wikipedia, a collaborative mapping service that combines satellite imagery with user-contributed data. So, ang Wikipedia is usa ka collaborative mapping service. Importante ni siya para sa pag-explore o pagtuon sa mga lain nga locations o pag-access og information about world or about sa world.
The major purpose of online platforms and application. First, we have layout. The arrangement of visual elements on a web page called layout ensures that content is organized and easy to navigate. Explanation. Layout can refer to several things depending on the context.
So layout design is the process of arranging visual elements like text, images, and shapes on a given page. So ang layout design is kasagaran ni siyang panggamit sa naay mga business or anything that you want to do this. So, ang layout design is the most important thing in Elements because naka-arrange na siya and naka-organize. So it means nga dali ra nimo siya masabtan and dili siya gubot tan-awon. So here are some examples of layout design. So this was a great examples of layout design. So as you can see in the picture is organize siya and arrange. Dili siya kayo gubot tan-awon and neat siya tan-awon. So kani ang layout design is very useful and important thing in Element.
In today's Satori Graphics graphic design tutorial, I'm going to teach you the golden rules of layout design so you can make professional and effective graphic designs. So welcome back to Satori Graphics, and in the first golden rule for layout design, we're going to take a look at negative space, which is sometimes referred to as white space. Now this simply is just the areas on your design that are not taken up by actual design assets or graphics. It can be used to separate sections of your design, define certain areas, and also allow your design to have room to breathe. Now on the first design, I've made sure to make some common mistakes that designers do embark on, and that is to try and fill out the negative space as much as possible by scaling up my text at the bottom here. Also, I've used a logo of sorts to fill the top half. Now doing this makes the design appear too busy and unorganized. Having a clear separation allows the viewer to look at the design more comfortably and also obtain the information very easily. But let's take a deeper look at my revision. So firstly, the logo is neatly added in the top left, and it doesn't fight for attention and overcrowd the design. The blue area is left with a lot of negative space, which does look neat and also organized. Below that, the text is still legible when printed out on an A4 document, yet there is a lot of space to the bottom right, which gives the design and the text some more room to breathe. Allowing your design to have negative space like this clearly creates areas for specific parts of your design, and this makes the viewer feel more at ease when viewing your design and trying to gather the information from the design itself. So finally, the design uses negative space to create the shapes going diagonally from the top right to the bottom left. So be sure to pay close attention to the negative space on your graphic designs, just as much as the actual graphics themselves, if not more so. Negative space in logo designing is often strictly around optical illusions and creating shapes with negative space. If you want to see more about negative space and logo designs, I have a video linked at the end of this one. But secondly, we're now moving on to why proximity is such an important aspect of layout design. And proximity basically suggests that design elements that are linked in some way or have a relationship should be grouped together. Aspects of your design that do not have a link or a relationship should not be linked together in most cases. When used correctly, proximity will structure your design as well as indicate to the viewer certain cues and information. So here is a landing page design, and firstly you can see a clear divide from the left to the right. The right section here basically has the illustrative artwork displaying context to the design itself. You will not find any key information or call to action buttons here, aside from the toolbar at the top, of course. Now on the left hand side, the title and the text content is grouped together in a neat manner, using good use of proximity. Now below that, there is a call to action which has its own space and is left alone, which basically frees it up to make it easier to be seen by the viewer and thus clicked. And finally, all of the social media icons are below in their own group. On this left-hand side, we have 3 different groups that all use neat and valid proximity. Now, repetition is a key aspect of not only layout design, but just graphic design in general. It helps a design have more continuous theme or look and feel. Repetition can be seen in things like the color scheme used throughout your design, or the use of similar shapes and graphics. Now here is another landing page design, and what kind of repetition can you see in this example? Now firstly, the most striking thing probably would be the color scheme. The color scheme is seen throughout the entire design, from the illustrations into the typography and even the call to action button. Also in the design, you'll notice that the style of the illustrations and the graphics are of the same kind of style throughout. You don't randomly see a gradient style or a 3D graphic. The illustrations are flat and somewhat rustic in nature, all themed around the topic of travel. Repetition is not just about using the same graphics throughout, but think about the same use of typeface, the same use of color, and the same style in general. This will unify your design and make things flow and appear more professional as a whole. The next golden rule for layout design is contrast. And this is something I've mentioned before on this channel, but let's take a quick look to reaffirm the understanding and the importance of it. Contrast simply refers to 2 design elements or aspects that are different in appearance and nature. To create contrast, you can experiment with color, typeface, shape and size. Contrast is very useful for creating a focal point, as well as giving objects greater visual weight and balancing the image. The first aspect of this design that utilizes contrast is the typography at the very top. Now I have the word Satori in a thicker version of the typeface, as opposed to the typesetting graphics. This creates interest in the visual aspect of the title. And the next use of contrast is the bottom text here, and this is where the use of red and black is seen, which are 2 contrasting colours, as well as again having different thicknesses in the typography itself. And in terms of shape, the circular icons at the bottom are a contrast to the straight edge line shapes that are found elsewhere in the design, giving them intrigue and a chance to stand out to the viewer. The actual image in the middle of the design is slanted on a tilt, which is a stark contrast to the level straight lines that are horizontal and found throughout the rest of the design. Now the penultimate golden rule for layout design is alignment. In graphic design, we should always be mindful of alignment. If it's for text, for imagery, or design elements in general, you should always look to align your work professionally and not make the rookie mistake of neglecting alignment. On my example, the first port of alignment is the future text in the central focal point. Now you can draw a vertical line and see that this text is centered properly. Now next to the bottom, the text information is situated neatly along a horizontal line and away from the print edge by a decent amount of space. And this is to keep the design neat and visually appealing. Now also running up the left and the right hand edge, I've adjusted things so that the linear graphic in the background now levels up to these text contents on the sides. However, the white circle with the price tag, and I've left this not aligned properly, and this is to make it stand out more. It's okay to break the rules in some sense, as long as the majority of your design does follow the basic layout rules. The design is still aligned well, despite the price tag being the odd one out, and that's just another form of contrast. The last golden rule of layout design is to use focal points, and I've touched upon focal points many times in the past, so I'm not going to go into detail today. However, a focal point is used on a design to pinpoint the start of a viewer's journey, and it's the main hotspot to grab attention and then to lure them into your design itself. It's almost like a kind of bait if you want to think of it that way. Now a focal point can be a shape, it can be an image, or even just typography itself. And on this example here, what do you deem to be the main focal point of interest? Firstly, it's a stark contrast in terms of colour. It's a dark blue set against a colour scheme of oranges and yellows, which are the complementary colours and the total opposites in the colour wheel. Also, as a design asset, it's very large, taking up a lot of space on the design. And notice how the wing itself is pointing to the title and the text in a sense, which again demonstrates how the viewer's eye can be directed and controlled. You start looking at the wing at the bottom, and then you move your eyesight up towards the text. This is a classic use of focal points in graphic design.
2 is color scheme. The use of colors to enhance visual appeal and convey information consistence. Color schemes could contribute to cohesive design. A color scheme is a carefully chosen set of colors that works together harmoniously in artistic and design contexts.
Color schemes. They can be utilized to create a considerably aesthetically interesting image for use in art, decoration, marketing, or anything you want. This also helps determine your accent in colors. This is also similar to color theory, or the study of how color works together. Just like this picture.
3. Typography. The style and appearance of text. Effective typography improve readability and expressive key context. Explanation. Typography is the art technique of designing, arranging, and selecting typeface to create visually appealing and readable text.
Typography is the art of arranging letters and text in a way that makes the copy legible, clear, and visually appealing to the readers.
Is way more complicated than most people think. You'd think something we've been doing since grade school would be intuitive, but it turns out there are millions of ways you can manipulate letters, and tiny changes can have huge effects. So in this design class, Typography 101, you'll learn the fundamentals of fonts so you can be an expert typographer for your personal life or your business. And I guarantee you by the end of this video, you'll never look at any website, billboard, or logo the same way again. So, what is typography? Typography is the art and science of arranging text to be both legible and appealing. The fundamental building blocks of typography are characters, and designers manipulate different parts of them to create different typefaces. When we use a certain combination of characters inside of a typeface, that's called a font. And choosing the right font is essential because we commit most of our visual attention in any design to text. Now, different fonts are like different tones of voice. A silly font might be great for a clown, but not a lawyer. And a fancy font might be perfect for a wedding photographer, but not an eye doctor. So just like you want to speak in the right tone of voice, you want to pick a font that matches the energy of the project you're working on. So we're going to go through every different kind of font and when you should use them. Starting with serif fonts. They're called that because they have little decorative lines hanging around them called serifs. When Gutenberg invented the printing press, he modeled the letters after handwritten and very fancy calligraphy. The only problem was that this took up a huge amount of space on the page and wasn't really legible. So in 1470, Nicholas Jensen invented the first serif typeface by chopping the flourishes off the calligraphy. He called this the Roman typeface based on Italian humanist script, which at the time was the modernist alternative to calligraphy. Jensen thought calligraphy was too fancy, especially for the new modern industrial printing press. And it caught on. Eventually, the Roman typeface became the standard in print for the next 200 years, and it was the basis for fonts like Times New Roman, which is now on every computer. Funnily enough, the Times, British not American, actually created Times New Roman because they wanted to seem more traditional, even though the Roman typeface was originally invented to be anti-traditionalist. But today, tradition, stability, and enduring value is exactly what people associate serif fonts with. That's why banks, jewelers, and lawyers typically use serif typefaces in their logos and designs. These fonts are perfect if you want your design to seem timeless. You should avoid these fonts though if you're designing something contemporary or playful. For a modern look and feel, we turn to sans serif typefaces. Sans means without in French, and sans serif literally means without serifs. Now, interestingly, sans serifs are actually older than serif fonts just because it's way easier to write simply than it is to write fancy. But sans serifs typically feel more modern because modern culture is often trying to remove ostentation, fancy decoration, or anything that doesn't serve a direct purpose. So like serif fonts that were invented as a simpler version of calligraphy, sans serif fonts were invented to remove every bit of decoration from a typeface. The disadvantage of sans serif fonts is that they can look a little boring and homogeneous. A lot of fashion brands recently ditched their striking and creative typography for sort of sterile and similar typefaces, which made them all kind of look the same. But sans serifs have a couple of major advantages over every other kind of typeface. First, they're extremely versatile. Because they lack a distinct personality, they can be used pretty much anywhere. So the same font can work for a construction company, dentist, or e-commerce store. The other big advantage is that there's a lot of variability within each typeface. Usually a serif font will have two options, bold and normal. But there are thousands of sans serif typefaces which are variable, meaning you can adjust the sizing and thickness to create millions of different combinations within the same typeface. That means you can use one typeface for your entire brand. Sans serifs also tend to be more legible than serif fonts. That's why they're the preferred choice for packaging, road signs, license plates, keycaps, billboards, and roughly 90% of consumer products. So if you have a modern brand, or you're looking for more versatility, or you're optimizing for legibility, a sans serif typeface is a great choice. Now, if you're looking for a typeface that's specifically for logos, headings, or titles, that's called a display typeface. Display typefaces can be serif, sans serif, made out of weird symbols, or anything you want. They get their own category because display typefaces are designed to be unique. They don't make good paragraphs, buttons, or labels, but if you want a small chunk of text to really stand out, use a display typeface.
Imagery. Visual elements such as photos and illustrations. Imagery supports content and engaged users. And the last part of the elements are navigation. Navigation is the system that helps users find their ways around a website. Clear and intuitive navigation improves user experience. Web page design using templates and online WYSIWYG platforms. So first, we have here a templates. So templates is a pre-designed page layouts that users can modify. Templates provide structure and save time in the design process.
A template is essentially a blueprint or guide that help you create something quickly and consistently. It can be physical object like a paper pattern for sewing or digital file like a document's layout in Microsoft Word. WYSIWYG platforms. Tools that allow users to create and edit web page visually. These platforms simplify design tasks by providing a graphical interface for users to see changes in real time. WYSIWYG describes a type of software interface that allows users to create and edit content visually with the final output closely resembling the one-screen display. This means you can see exactly how your documents, web page, or presentation will look when it's pretend of published without needing to rely on code or complex formation commands.